Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. Look, I've been looking at the eSafety Commission and the eSafety Commissioner, Julie Inman Grant. Ever since the story broke quite a few days ago now about Billboard Chris and about a tweet that he put up on X. He's a Canadian, put the post up in Canada. Julian Munn Grant, the commissioner, and the Australian Commission decided this was offensive. To protect for the safety of all Australians, they were demanding X take down the post. So I've been looking up trying to find out who is this Julie Inman Grant. So listen, I just want to play this just to help refresh your memory. This is Julie Inman Grant talking at the World Economic Forum. Funny enough, her connection with the World Economic Forum, interesting. Anyway, let's check this out.
We are finding ourselves in a place where we have increasing polarization everywhere, and everything feels binary when it doesn't need to be. So I think we're going to have to think about a recalibration of a whole range of human rights that are playing out online, from freedom of speech to the freedom to, to be free from online violence, or the right of data protection to the right to child dignity.
So there you go. Calibration of human rights. This is what the commissioner for the Australian eSafety Commission, this is what she wants for you and I. So I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. It's interesting the way she looks at it. I think it's very telling. Now, trying to look up who Julie Inman Grant is now, and the eSafety Commission and what it's all part of. It all comes under, as far as I can see, under the Australian Communications and Media Authority. So before we get into that, I just want to go through a few things that I found online about the Australian Communications and Media Authority. Okay, so a part of this Australian Communications and Media Authority, this is the executive remuneration. Narida O'Loughlin, she is the chair. There's her base salary there of $502,582. Krina Chapman, deputy chair, she's only making $377,000 as her base. That's not including super. $378,585. Julie Inman Grant, the lady that you just saw there on the video, eSafety Commissioner, she's making a lazy $407,703. Rebecca Rezavi, who we're going to talk about soon too, because she's got a few things to say about recalibrating online platforms, online presence. So Rebecca, she's making a lazy $316,644. Kathy Rainsford, general manager, $296,763. This is all base. Helen Owens, general manager, $291,308. Linda Caruso, general manager, $284,602. And then Brendan Byrne, who we'll call him the token GM, because, nine executives here, but you can only have one male, 292,371. So these are the people who are part of the, who are running the Australian Communications and Media Authority, and who the eSafety Commissioner. When you look up their report, you have the Australian Communications and Media Authority annual report. This is from 2019-2020. And part 2 of that report is the Office of the eSafety Commissioner annual report. So it all comes under the same umbrella, basically. So they, reading through, trying to find out more information about her and about the eSafety Commissioner and the ideology behind it all. What are they thinking? When she's talking about a recalibration of human rights. What is she meaning? What is she thinking about that? I mean, recalibration. Okay, so let's look up what the eSafety Commissioner and Commission is about. It's Australia's independent regulator for online safety. We are the world's first government agency dedicated to keeping people safer online. We started operation in 2015 as the Children's eSafety Commissioner, and we are now at the forefront of the fight against online risks and harms faced by adults as well as children. We are a fast-growing team of educators, investigators, lawyers, policy analysts, technology experts, digital specialists, and other professionals who share one goal: a safer and more positive online experience for all Australians. Australia's eSafety Commissioner is Julie Inman-Grant. Grant has extensive experience in the technology industry, having held senior public positions in safety roles with Microsoft, Twitter, and Adobe. That's not her there in the picture, that's something else. So you can find out more about that. So I also want to have a look at the second one in charge, or sorry, not second one in charge, the one of her general managers, Rebecca Rezavi. She says, "I'm delighted to come on board at a critical juncture for eSafety, as well as for the online safety of Australians, as the COVID-19 crisis recalibrates our online lives." There it is again, that word recalibrates. What do they mean by recalibrating? It kind of reminds me of a reset, a recalibration. It's a reset. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. So now let's go to Julie Inman-Grant. Let's get more into what her background is, who she is, what she's all about. Check this out. About the Commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant is Australia's eSafety Commissioner. She leads the world's first government regulatory agency committed to keeping its citizens safer online. Extensive experience in the non-profit and government sectors, spent decades working in senior public policy safety roles in the tech industry at Microsoft, Twitter, and Adobe. Obviously, she didn't work at X. She was at Twitter. I wonder if that's why she's so against X, trying to pick a fight with Elon. As commissioner, Julie plays an important global role as chair. This is very important. The reason why I'm reading this, and all this section might explain why they like using this term recalibration, and maybe why I think of the term reset. As commissioner, Julie plays an important global role as chair of the Child Dignity Alliance's technical working group, and as a board member of the We Protect Global Alliance. The commissioner also serves on the World Economic Forum's Global Coalition for Digital Safety. The World Economic Forum. She actually serves on the World Economic Forum's Global Coalition for Digital Safety. So when we saw that speech there, she was, at the World Economic Forum having that little speech. She actually serves. She works with them. She wasn't just there merely as a guest. She actually works for them. Interesting. So is that why recalibration reminds me so much of a great reset, maybe? Under her leadership, eSafety has joined forces with the White House Gender Policy Council and Government of Denmark on the Global Partnership for Action, blah, blah, blah. In 2021, Julie oversaw significant increases in the eSafety office's budget, increased staffing levels, and launched the Global Safety by Design initiative. As commissioner, she has led work to stand up novel and world first regulatory regimes under the new Online Safety Act 2021, with implementation of a sweeping new set of reforms beginning on 23rd of January 2022. Inman-Grant was reappointed for a further 5-year term by the Australian government in January 2022. So she continues her 400,000 plus a year for another 5 years, not voted in, just appointed by them. So reading all about the eSafety Commission, and what they're all about. Obviously, they just started in 2015. Inman Grant talks about the new powers, the authority they have to do things now. I was reading about what, they made this decision and they tried to force X to take down a post. Obviously, X are pushing back saying, well, no, you are exceeding your authority. Okay, so here we go on this the web page for the eSafety Commissioner, our legislative functions. Now, this may come across a little dry, but I think it's very important to go through it and find out what their actual powers are. The Online Safety Act 2021 expanded and strengthened Australia's online safety laws, giving eSafety improved powers to help protect all Australians from the most serious forms of online harm. Remember, it's for your safety, for your benefit they're doing this. We still have powers and functions under the section of the Telecommunications Act 1997 and sections of the Criminal Code Act 1995, which is a very important thing to remember as well. The Criminal Code Act 1995, you'll see why it's important later. So the Online Safety Act 2021 gives eSafety substantial new powers to protect all Australians across most online platforms. I'm not going to read all this, it's a bit dry. The Act stipulates, what the Australian government now expects of technology companies that operate online services. These expectations are set out in what the Act defines as the basic online safety expectations. The Act also requires industry to develop new codes. So they require industry to develop new codes. It always works out really well when government tells industry exactly what they need to do. To regulate illegal and restricted content. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but anyway, this refers to the most seriously harmful material, such as videos showing sexual abuse of children or acts of terrorism, to content that is inappropriate for children, such as pornography. It's funny. So everyone would have to agree with what they're saying here because, this is protecting children, protecting sexual abuse of children, from sexual abuse. Anything inappropriate for children. However, the post that eSafety Commissioner took issue with was not one. It was actually of a trans man, which I believe, if I've got this right, it's a woman who've decided that they're a man, and they've had surgery to cut off parts of their body and have surgery. And so it's got really nothing to do with protecting children. It was an adult. So it was about this person. So it says that we are working with the tech industry to develop these codes to guide. They just want to guide online service providers on how to comply. We'll guide you so you will comply with their obligations under the new act. It's all worded very nicely. We're going to guide you. We're going to guide you so that you will comply because they're your obligations. Together, the basic online safety expectations and the new industry codes outline how we will work with the tech industry to achieve safer online experiences for all Australians, because it's for your safety, Australians. It's for your safety. Now, what the Online Safety Act 2021 changes. New powers. These are the new powers. There is one lot of powers here that I find very crikey. Number one, a world-first adult cyber abuse scheme for Australians 18 years and older. Number two, a broader cyberbullying scheme for children to capture harms that occur on online services and platforms other than social media. Number three, an updated image-based abuse scheme to address the sharing and threatening sharing of intimate images without the consent of the person shown. Number four, targeted powers to require internet service providers to block access to materials showing abhorrent, violent content. Number five, one line, stronger information gathering powers. I found that really strange. One line. We've just got stronger information gathering powers. Okay. Number six, a modernized online content scheme to regulate illegal and restricted content no matter where it's hosted, bringing in app distribution services and search engines. Number 7, new basic online safety expectations that ensure online safety providers take reasonable steps to keep Australians safe online. Number 8, new industry codes requiring online platforms and service providers to detect and remove illegal and restricted content. Requiring online platform. Now, like I said, anyway, what really caught my attention here was number 5, stronger information gathering powers. Okay, so when I'm looking at this legislation or these powers, and they say stronger information and gathering powers, raises a few red flags for me. So looking down and see how they this is what the information they give for stronger information gathering powers. The Act, so these are the new powers they have. The Act gives eSafety new powers to gather information about people who use a social media service, relevant electronic service, or designated internet service. It also gives us new powers to investigate alleged incidents. The Act gives us new and stronger powers to help reveal the identities behind accounts people use to conduct serious online abuse or to exchange illegal content. We can use these powers across all our new and existing schemes. This means we can issue a notice to gather more information to investigate a complaint about child cyberbullying, adult cyber abuse, image-based abuse, or illegal and restricted content. If an online service provider ignores a notice to provide account details, it could face civil penalties. We may also require a person to appear before the eSafety Commissioner, produce documents, answer questions, or provide any other information in connection with an investigation. So we require, whenever law agencies, government agencies start using terms like we require, yeah, you need to listen. You know you're in for a world of hurt if you don't. So failure to comply with a requirement to give evidence under Part 14 is a criminal offence. Criminal offence. However, there are exemptions relating to self-incrimination or the confidentiality of journalistic sources. This very much reminded me, I think I've told you, so I used to work for I was seconded at the CCC, the Crime and Corruption Commission. So they had these powers referred to as the coercive hearings. So you're called before you're called to give evidence to come and answer questions in a coercive hearing. The scary thing about coercive hearing is you stand up and people, you're sitting there, okay? People, hey, Joe Blow, answer this question. Tell me, blah, blah, blah. Joe Blow says, I'm not answering your question. The coercive hearing people then turn around, or the Crime and Corruption Commission turn around and say, well, thus, from here on in, you will spend some time in a little solitary, in a little jail cell, and you will sit there until you decided to answer our question. And anyway, so that's what it reminded me of. But I want to go back to this. Who are they gathering information? Stronger information gathering powers. The Act gives eSafety new powers to gather information about people who use a social media service, relevant electronic service, or designated internet service. That is absolutely everyone in the whole of Australia. They can gather information. In other words, they can conduct surveillance on the whole of Australia. I tell you, I find it really unsettling, very unsettling that we've got this new commission and this commissioner, and they've got powers to conduct surveillance on just about everyone. People, I've met so many people that tell me, well, no, I don't use social media. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't use a newfangled digital phone. I don't use one of those. I use one of the old school phones, just a push button phone, this kind of thing. Well, that would be a relevant electronic service, wouldn't it? Which means the commission can now gather information about you. They can gather information. They can conduct covert surveillance on everyone, absolutely everyone. That is the power and the authority that they have. And by the sounds of it, they don't really, and by the sounds of it, whereas other law enforcement agencies have to apply for warrants, have to ask permission to be able to conduct surveillance, it seems like that's their new power. They already have the power to gather information about people. So that's what we now have here in Australia. And yet people don't seem to be more concerned about this. People don't seem to think that when I know people are making fun of her and calling her, she's a bit of a Karen or whatever, because she's making this push against this post that's been made on X, and she's brought more attention to larger issues. But as so often happens with these government agencies, they're just testing the waters, just seeing, hey, legally, this is how far we can push things. This is how far we can push the boundaries. We can really test the limits to our powers. Because eventually, remember, they're going to want to recalibrate human rights for everyone in Australia. And you won't be able to get away with anything. You won't be able to opt out of this recalibration because they can gather information on everyone. What more can I say? If you're not concerned about this, if you're not worried about these new powers that they have, if you don't think this is government overreach, if you don't think it's strange even that that we've got all these agencies that are suddenly just run by women because there's no men that can. It's not even equality anymore. We want 50-50 or something like that. No, we'll just go 99% women. It's strange. The whole thing is strange. If you're not concerned about it, if you think everything's fine here, Jay, there's nothing to worry about. I'm sure the government will look after it. I'm sure they won't overstep the boundaries. I'm sure they won't overstep their powers. I'm sure that they will use their powers wisely. If that's what you think, well, okay, we'll go with that. I think we've got a problem. I think this is a slippery slope. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel the desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's going